So another economic item is going to be your termination rights. Typically, you'll have landlords, and you see this even a lot for your large corporations that are leasing, 20, 30,000 square feet. A lot of your restaurateurs, some of your retail guys, especially if they're kind of like anchors. Basically, you're negotiating your termination rights. Let's say, for example, the landlord is pushing for a longer term lease, let's say 10 years. And well, you don't necessarily want to do that. You want a shorter term. So you say you'll negotiate the right to terminate um, after, let's say, 7 years, because that's kind of ideal, the term that you want to be there. Or in some instances um, for retail, kind of like their kickout clause. Basically, if you don't hit certain metrics as far as sales and things like that, you have the ability to terminate your lease as well after maybe 3 or 4 years or something like that. So definitely, that's another key item to pay attention to. Um, let's see. Oh, audit rights, right? So you want the ability to audit your expenses. So every year the landlord is supposed to reconcile their expenses, make the budgets for next year, and then send you a statement saying that, hey, we underestimated expenses. Here's the difference that you paid, or we overestimated, and either we're writing you a check back or giving you concession or rent going forward. But for you, you want to make sure that first and foremost, you're being charged what you're supposed to be charged, that's agreed to the lease. And then if you're getting charged more, you want to be able to verify that. So you want the ability to actually audit the expenses of the landlord that you're being charged. You'll be surprised. Most tenants um, are shocked when they see a see a bill like around I want to say around February, April or so, saying that they owe some additional money for expenses. They're trying to figure out why. Um, and then little to know than them, they don't have the ability um, to look at the books of the landlord to verify, make sure there is a mistake. Because you'll be surprised, especially with um, so many leases in these multi-tenant buildings. Um, a lot of things are being negotiated, things are being given away. So mistakes are more than likely made as far as what you're supposed to be charged, because everybody might have a cap at a certain number, and then their estimation of operating expenses is off, so it just can become a big nightmare. But with that being said, you want to do your due diligence and make sure you justify that you're paying your fair share and not more, um, because again, you're running the business, and that can have effect, especially if you haven't planned on it, or you're not haven't planned on it financially in your budgeting. So definitely want to make sure that you have the ability to audit the financials of the landlord with regards to operating expenses for your CAMs. Um, Another thing that I think often gets overlooked is building signage in regards to signage on the building or a monument sign. Do you have the ability to have either or? Especially depending on what type of building, what kind of business you have. Obviously, it's retail. Um, Signage visibility is key. If you're want to be in a big office, you see those office buildings, you see those huge signage, so people know where you are, locate you, and then also it's kind of branding as well. So, that's probably one of the things that can often get overlooked during everything that you're negotiating. Um, and sometimes not even looked at all, because, like I said, from our experience, most people just look at what's the rent, and no, I want to pay less, or no, that's too much, or whatever the case may be. And then once they agree to the number, they sign the lease. But they haven't garnered the necessary flexibility, and uh, made the looked at the lease from a total economic picture of other things that could happen over the term that you're committing to, but just beyond the monthly numbers that may change based on the language again, because you don't have caps, or you have a base year and expenses with more than that, and you get a invoice for additional funds and stuff like that. So it's definitely important. You want to take your time and make sure you represent your best interests, or have somebody represent your best interests, and make sure your interest is being served during the negotiation as far as what you're negotiating for. Um, and then probably um, last but not least, the work letter, right? And so the work letter is basically an agreement of, when most places, when you're trying to lease them, are not fit for you. So you're requesting tenant improvement dollars for the landlord to turnkey it, meaning they're going to handle all of it, um, or vice versa, you're going to be in charge of doing it. So when you're negotiating this work letter, you're basically laying out what's going to be done, how long it's going to take, if there's any issues, how is that rectified, there's the penalties for being late, so forth and so on. So that is definitely key, especially in retail, when you're trying to open up your business by a certain period of time, for a certain season, especially if it's like back to school or the holiday time. And then if you're a business for office, you're relocating tenants here, and if you can't open up your space and allow them to start working, that could be a hassle that costs you money. So it just goes all the way around. It was just kind of a couple of examples. So um, probably my best advice is, yes, the numbers are important, but that's just a small factor. You definitely got to go and look beyond the numbers, um, and really have a plan for all the things that you're wanting to get done and accomplished in negotiating your lease that has the best economic outcome for you. So, like I said, the numbers, the parking rights, the expansion, all of that encompasses a greater total. The rent number is just a small percentage of that. Um, and for somebody, it's a big percentage, but there are other parts in it that can have an economic effect on your business, and they can restrict you, or put you in a situation to where you may have to seek legal counsel. And who wants to do that? So, again, don't just pay to the numbers, go beyond, and make sure you have somebody representing your best interests. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Level Playing Field ProCast. You can follow us, or actually follow me, on Twitter at Dominic Green CRE. Search us on LinkedIn and Facebook. Just type in the word ATENANTco. Or you can go to my personal profile on LinkedIn at Dominic Green Tenant Rep Advisor. For more information about us, go to our website at www.ATENANTco.com. And for immediate assistance, you can give us a call at 214-247-6211. And until next time, happy leasing, everyone.